Hey guys, it's Anthony Bandier here, attorney and senior legal instructor at Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing the Roadside Chat. This question comes from an officer in Cook County, Illinois. So that's Chicago, right? So the question is can an officer require ID from a passenger in a traffic stop? And the officer, I guess, is in a gang unit and his partner make a traffic stop on a vehicle that is suspected of criminal activity. They are believed to have just bought or sold drugs. The area is known for high drug activity based on a prior arrest. There are 4 individuals in the vehicle, but the driver and the front passenger are the 2 suspects of interest. So the 2 in the back maybe are just hanging out, right? Can the officers require all occupants to present their IDs? Well, look, let's go through a few things, right? So first of all, we know that a passenger is seized under a traffic stop, even if they're not suspected of criminal activity, right? They are seized under the 4th Amendment. That case is Brenlin. We also know that the Supreme Court does not prohibit asking a person questions or asking them for their ID, asking for consent to search. We don't need reasonable suspicion for that. Of course, the legal question here, though, is what if they refuse, right? In order to require somebody to ID, you need to have reasonable suspicion. In order to order them to identify themselves, you need reasonable suspicion. Also, the so what, right? Not all states have stop and identify statutes. Like Pennsylvania, for example, yeah, you can ask them, maybe even say, hey, look, I think you're involved in criminal activity. You got to show me your ID. But if they refuse, that in and of itself is not going to be enough to arrest. What does Illinois say on this issue? Well, according to Illinois compiled statutes, Chapter 725, Section 5/107-14, a peace officer may stop any person in a public place for a reasonable period of time when the officer reasonably infers from the circumstances that the person is committing, is about to commit, or has committed an offense. So that's your typical Terry statute, right? The officer may demand the name and address of the person and an explanation of their actions. Such detention is temporary, and questioning will be conducted in the vicinity of where the person is stopped. So this is very common with your stop and identify statutes. They talk about it's temporary. How long do you have? Well, how long do you need to determine if the person's involved in criminal activity? So it could be 2 minutes, it could be 60 minutes in extreme cases. It also, the statute clearly says that the officer is allowed to demand their name and address. So according to this, if they refuse and the officer has reasonable suspicion, then that is a violation of Illinois law, right? And so that has consequences. And that also may contribute, the fact that they're not giving you lawfully required information can help contribute to probable cause. But at the end of the day, what about these all 4 passengers? The answer is that we cannot, under these circumstances, very limited facts, demand ID from the 2 uninvolved passengers if we don't have reasonable suspicion as to them. Now you may, but if you can't go to court with a straight face and say, look, I have reasonable suspicion for all people in the car, then Illinois statute does not allow you to demand their name and address. You can ask for it, but if they tell you to go pound sand, keep pushing forward with the rest of the investigation, okay? So in that fact, driver, front passenger, they get ID'd. The 2 people in the back that appear to have nothing to do with it, according to what the officer is saying, they do not order their ID. There are some cases out there about ordering a passenger to ID themselves, and in 2 cases I'm thinking of, both cases said the officer did not get qualified immunity because it was clearly established that passengers who have done nothing wrong do not have an obligation to identify themselves. All right? Thank you for your question. If you have more questions for us, go to bluetogold.com/show and ask your question and so forth. Until next time, my friends, stay safe.